While history often paints the Beatles' internal conflict as a battle between Paul McCartney and John Lennon, it's easy to forget that George Harrison and Ringo Starr were caught in the middle too, each quietly navigating their own struggles for independence. Harrison, in particular, was eager to break free creatively, a spirit that exploded in his 1970 masterpiece, All Things Must Pass, still considered by many to be the greatest solo album ever produced by a former Beatle. But the band's breakup wasn't just artistic friction. It played out like a messy divorce, with subtle alliances and unspoken loyalties shaping every decision. Harrison may have never said it outright, but his sympathies leaned toward Lennon. Throughout his years in the Beatles, he was the understated supporter, loyal to John's raw honesty and experimental edge. McCartney's increasing desire to control every creative detail clashed with Harrison's evolving songwriting voice, creating an atmosphere that felt more like tension than teamwork. Harrison once recalled how controlling things had become. "There came a time when Paul had an idea in his head about how to record one of his songs," he said. "It got to the point where I'd open my guitar case, ready to play, and he'd stop me, saying, 'No, we're not doing that yet.'" Eventually, George found himself sitting idly in the studio, listening as Paul fine-tuned, fixing a hole, with Ringo just keeping time in the background. That kind of creative suffocation sparked a quiet resentment. Harrison longed for something deeper, darker, more unpredictable, the kind of energy Lennon naturally brought to the table. It's no surprise that among the tracks on Abbey Road, the band's final masterpiece, his favorite wasn't one of his own or Paul's, but John's ethereal because. Speaking about the song, Harrison once noted, "The backing is a bit like Beethoven, and the three-part harmonies are incredible. Paul usually writes the sweeter tunes, John the more edgy or freaky ones, but I think this might be my favorite on the album. The lyrics are simple, but the harmonies were tough to nail. Still, I think it's one of those songs that will really impress people." As Abbey Road transitions from Because into its sprawling medley, widely seen as Paul's creative signature, the fractured state of the band becomes impossible to ignore. Each fragment feels like a piece of four different artists trying to move in separate directions. And yet, through all the turmoil, the album gave birth to Come Together, a song that, whether Lennon meant it or not, sounded like a desperate plea for unity from a band already falling apart.